Hello everybody, welcome back to X-Plane 11 once again. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to fly a general aviation airplane, and this is the ASDG Super Cub. I have just a little bit of time in this, so I'm still a little squirrely at the controls. It's not the easiest airplane to fly. This thing is about $42.95. You can get it on xplane.org, and it seems like it's a little pricey for a GA airplane, I understand. But this does have REP built into it. You got the knee board, you got your weight and balance, and on top of that, you have the different sounds and all that stuff. So an REP package usually costs, I think it's like 15 bucks if you want to get one for like a Carenado airplane or something. So keep in mind that the price of the REP is built into this one, so it's not as expensive as you would think. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. It's a fantastic airplane. Let's check it out and see what it's all about. We have at the very bottom, little Titan. We are flying an experimental airframe type of the 150 horsepower version. There's a 150 and a 180. Actually, this seems like there's more than that, but we're flying the 150. And that's all the information there that you would want to know. This does have a version of floats on it. It also has two different versions, the 150 and the 180 of the Tundra tires, which are big fat tires that go on the airplane. Okay, let's check everything out. I'll show you the inside of the airplane and we'll get going here. One thing I do want to say really quick is that when you first load this airplane, you're going to get terrible frame rates. I don't know what it is. I went digging through the forums and found other people found out how to fix it, and I'll tell you how to fix it. If you're getting bad frame rates when you first load in, don't even bother flying it. Go up here to developer and hit reload the current aircraft. So load in, then reload it. I don't know what it is. You go from like 10 frames per second to like 50. So keep that in mind. Let's head up into the cockpit here and have a look around. We've got your basic stuff right here. There's not a lot to a Super Cub or to a Cub in general. You've got your fuel gauge right here on the left. Your magnetos is kind of weird if you're used to a Cessna. You get your magnetos right here. This is your pitch trim. You also have the starter right there. It took me forever to find that. I was in VR and I could not figure out where the hell that was. This is the fuel selector for the left and right tanks. And then up here on your right is your main panel there. So let's do the pre-flight and get this thing going so we can go for a flight today. We'll open up our, well, here's the knee board, and you have normal operations, emergency, and references you can choose from here. Normal operations, you just hit the little page tabs over here, and you can go through your checklists. We'll use that when we get there, but right now we need to do the walk around of the airplane. And this is one thing that is prevalent in all the REP packages. So it's really, really nice to have this. As you can see right there, can't speak. Reality expansion pack here with the walk around. All right, cabin, pilot's operating handbook. The POH is in. Parking brake, is that set? Let's, yeah, it should be set. But is it? That is the question. Let's have a look. Yes, always double check. Yes, it is. Okay, so it is good to go. Magnetos are off, and we'll put the flaps down by this handle right here. That's your flaps right there. And we'll hit next. Okay. On the electrical panel here, we got master switch is off and the avionics power switch is off. Right tire, not looking green. Got a little bit of wear to them here, but they're fine enough for flight today. Not a big deal. We'll hit toggle chocks there and go to the next. Oil quantity just slightly used so far with this airplane, but plenty of oil here. It looks great. Move on to the next one here. In the front, we've got our cowl prop and air filter clear. They are not obstructed. That's what we want. Left tire, same status as the other one, yellow. And we have some chocks. Boom, they go bye-bye. Left fuel tank, we've got a quantity in there. We've got blue avgas, and we have no water contamination. That's what we want. Fantastic. Wing tie down, let's go ahead and undo that guy. And let's check out the ailerons. Up, down. Very nice. Good movement there. And we'll check the left flap. That's good as well. Empennage. We can see back here. Let's go ahead and check the elevator for travel. Looks great. And the rudder. Even better. All right. The tail tie down. We'll take that away and we move on. Let's check out the right side flap. That's good. Very good. All right, sweet. Right aileron up, down. Awesome. And right wing tie down. There we go. And the right side fuel tank has got a good quantity in there. Color's blue, no water contamination. All right, walk around, it's complete. Let's get this thing fired up and get going down the runway. So let's go ahead and open our knee board up. Normal operations, aircraft preparation checklist. Pre-flight has been finished. Aircraft equipment is good. Flight time, not worried about it. Flight controls, they are free and correct. They're moving around there pretty good. You can see here's our rudder up there. And we have movement out there. Awesome. Let's actually put our flaps up. Don't need those down anymore. All right, sweet. Electrical switches are all off. Okay, so let's go to engine start. Cabin is secure. Parking brake is set. Battery and alternator master switch. Let's turn those on. So master comes on, the battery. And okay, avionics, you want to just come on whenever you want, don't you? Alternator, there we go. Fuel quantity was checked. That's good. Fuel selector. Let's go ahead and put this guy to let's put this away so we can see this guy right here. Remove him to we'll do the left tank. Or not. Can we not go to the left tank? There it goes. We'll do the left tank to start with. There we go. Okay. Beacon light will come on. There it is right there. All right, priming. We have a cold engine, so we need to open the throttle a 1/4 inch here. There we go. Mixture will go full rich, right like that. Fuel boost pump will come on 3 seconds. Man, I can't speak today. What is going on? I swear I'm not having a stroke. 2, 3, boom. All right. Mixture idle cutoff now. There we go. And we do propeller area clear. Clear prop. Magnetos set to both. Oh. Both of those are on. Starter right here, this little guy. And we're gonna go like this. We're gonna wait for the engine to catch and we're gonna push in the mixture. So let's do it. There it went right there. Push that in, we're good. Let's check our RPM. We want 1,000 RPM, about right there. And we need to start already leaning this thing out so we don't foul the fuel plugs here. Okay, that should do it right there. Shouldn't be an issue. All right, we have a good engine start. Pretty quiet sounding airplane when you're inside the cockpit. Oil pressure was good. I saw that during the start. GPS radios, those are not on, so let's go ahead and turn our avionics on. There they go. Those are set. Flight instruments should be 2992. Yep, that looks good right there because I just have it on VFR. Nice weather out here. All right, we're good there. Ready for the taxi check. Brakes will be checked here in a minute. Compass free. Slip indicator will be turning and skidding. So let's go ahead and push that thing in and we'll see those exact things. Oh, hello. Hello. You're moving around a little bit there. All right. So we're going to test the brakes here. I've got good brakes. We have turn coordinator slipping around out there. Yes, it is. One thing this airplane I've noticed is I've had some real problems with it getting it to taxi. Like it's got this prop wash issue I get. Yeah, I know. I gotta wait for the high RPMs. Okay, so it's moving around. It's good. Yeah, it's just a real bitch to turn right. Engine run up checklist. Well, we're gonna take off to the right, so we might as well go ahead and do our run up right here. Actually, let's taxi a little bit further forward. This is gonna take a little bit to get used to this airplane. Like I said, I have very low hours. See how it just wants to go left? You gotta give it more power and then force it to the right. It should not do that. Should not do that at all, but it's just a real problem and something I've had to deal with this version of X-Plane at least. So we're gonna taxi down here. Oh, we're just gonna go to the right. We don't need that much runway to take off, to be honest with you. Okay, that looks good right there. Go ahead and idle that sucker back. Parking brake is set. Let's go ahead and go to the kneeboard. Engine run up checklist. Parking brake is set. Engine instruments are in the limits. Area behind us is clear. Throttle up to 1800 RPM. Like most GA airplanes, a little bit more power than that. There we go. Checking out at 1800. Magnetos. Let's watch for the 50 drop here on the right. There it is. Left side. There it is. Okay, sweet. Engine instruments are in limits. Mixture control. EGT will arise when late. We're not worried about that right now. Mixture. Blah, 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 blah. Alternator. Is that charging? Yes, it is. Throttle. Check it back to idle. All right, and then I believe it's just flight controls free and correct. For let's box controls here real quick. And we can see it out there moving around. Yes, those are good to go. Free and correct. Fuel quantity is good. Mixture control. We're gonna go rich right before we take off. Otherwise, it'll bitch at us about fouling fuel plugs. Magnetos are good. Flaps are up. We don't need them. Trim is, you want it back about right there. That's gonna be pretty good for takeoff. Engine instruments within limits. Flight instruments checked. Avionics is set. Takeoff briefing. Taking off. That's all you need to know. Seat belts, cabin, blah, 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 blah. All right, sweet. Let's go ahead and push the parking brake in. Let's go flying, folks. Let's go flying. All we got to do now is just give a little bit of power here. And hopefully this won't be too much of a bitch to turn. There we go. A little bit better. A lot better, actually, doing that. A little bit more power. And it's still doing that weird thing. You can see how it wants to pull left hard on us. I'm having to use the right brake to try to get this thing to turn right. It shouldn't do that. It really should not do. Like, look at this. I'm at full power to try to get this thing to turn. That is not good at all. I hope they fix that with this airplane. Come on. It's just it's a nightmare to taxi. It really is. You should not have to deal with this. This isn't good at all. Let me know in the comments if you guys have had any issues with this airplane doing that to you as well, because it seems to happen anywhere. Unless I'm like on a perfectly paved runway. Okay, there we go. Right there looks good. Oof. Well, so taxiing, not too fun. Let's go ahead and push in the mixture and let's go flying. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the power up. Be ready for this. Turn to the right. Crap. Add the power. There we go. And full power to the right. Boy, this thing does not want to stay there, does it? Nope. There's the tail up. And we'll just bring it up off the ground. Wow. Okay. That was, that's interesting. And it's never been an easy takeoff in this airplane so far. The amount of time I do have in it, which isn't a whole lot. So you're probably gonna see me do some things that are incorrect. Keep that in mind. Have a good climb out here. Oof. Has a nice roll to the right feel. But one thing I have noticed with this airplane in forums and stuff, people have said that it's something to do with the beta, the current version of X-Plane, that has screwed some things up. Move my stuff over this way. All right, we should have a nice side view there of the field. There it is over there. Let's go ahead and start our downwind. I'm gonna bring power back a little bit here too. Already at 1,000 feet. That's pretty high up. Let's bring the nose down. I wanted to get about 800 feet. There wasn't any reason to have 1,000 here. Beautiful scenery. That's the 1 November 2. Lufker Spadaro. We're in New York. It's a payware scenery. Okay. There we go. Now we're down below 800. Let's go ahead and go. We're just going to go 1,500 RPM now just so we can get this thing slowed up. because it's not that easy to slow this airplane down. I'll tell you that. I've had some interesting times with that. Okay. It's about 80 knots right there. Let's go ahead and come over this way. Go first notch of flap. Add that power one about 1500 RPM here or so. Do not know how to properly fly a Super Cub, by the way. Still learning. Second notch of flaps there. Awesome. Got the runway in sight. Let's just keep on creeping this baby over. And staying in coordinated flight. So as I turn the airplane to the left, you see if I just let it go, you'll see the ball move around a little bit too much. Okay. Kind of slip the sucker on down in here. That's how you fly these tail draggers. A lot of stick and rudder action. They're a lot of fun. They really are. Over the wires right here. We don't want to hit those. There's a tree there, and let her sink on down in here. Let's try to get a 3-point landing here. Ooh, oh, kind of. Not really. Not the best. Bring the flaps up. Add that power back in. It's a handful, man. That's a handful on the ground. I don't know why it's so bad on the ground. Maybe I need to adjust some things, such as my sensitivity. It's just very sensitive. I mean, well, that makes sense. Hopefully you can see the stick down here. Like, I'm barely moving it, and you can see how much movement there is, which I would expect from a small airplane like this. But the only issue I have is the whole it's doing this weird thing when it's on the ground. Even when you're at speed, it doesn't seem to matter. It's still like at a very weird thing. Go coordinate our flight a little bit better there. A little bit left side here. Using our rudder as we make our turn. A bit too much there, actually. All right, 800 feet again looks good. Pulling our power back again. But you see what I mean? It's pretty slippery. Meaning that that you can maintain some decent speed to a runway. Not bad at all. There it is over there. Hopefully we'll get better at this. All right, let's go first notch of flaps here. We're gonna do a little bit shorter approach. I'm gonna try to get it on its 2 wheels. Not gonna go for a 3-pointer on this one. Since we're doing touch and goes, I don't really want to lay that tail down if we don't have to here. That power back in there. This is a little bit better. You see those flaps out there? They look awesome. I aim for about 60 knots. I'm not really sure what is required of it, but that's what I do. Here's the airport right there. A damn car out there driving around on us. On down in here. Clear those trees, and we're pretty golden there. All right, let this thing settle down. Doesn't want to bleed very much speed off here. Whoop. Ooh, little bouncy. Ooh, that was really bad. Back in the air we go. Oh my lord. Let's try right traffic this time. And there's the paved runway. We could use the paved runway, actually. We haven't used that today. So maybe we'll do that next. Bring our flaps up. Never want to bring those up immediately. All right, pull that back a little bit here. We're looking good. Doing some fun GA flying today. Pull this back a little bit. 2200. Yeah, I go about 2200 RPM. It works pretty good. All right, let's try to hit the asphalt this time. Use that runway. Pull the power back. 1500, and let's start bleeding our speed off here so we can get into the white arc. Here's the first one. So first notch of flaps goes in. Second notch of flaps. Got the runway in sight. Fly on in here. Got the power at idle right now. Maybe a little high on this approach as well. I think that's my issue. I think I'm a little high on these approaches. Yeah, well, maybe not. Yeah, a little high and fast there on this one, so we might just kiss this one by a little bit. But that's okay. We're doing a touch and go anyway. Ooh, bounce the hell out of it, man. That is tough. Full power there, climb on out. And we'll put the gear up. Or not the gear up, the flaps up here in a second. Flaps up. And next notch of flaps up. Still climbing out here. Yeah, we haven't had a good landing in this thing yet. This is not an easy airplane to fly. I will not lie. And I would imagine you have to use more rudder than this. I'm basically neutral rudder right now, which would not really be the case. I could totally be wrong though. I've only flown one tail dragger in my life. Little Aeronca Champ. The blast too. I absolutely love tail draggers. They're a ton of fun. All right, let's try to get a decent landing out of this thing. I'm just gonna go for a 3-pointer. I'm not gonna do the 2. The 2, you just have to get it just right for it to not bounce. A 3-point, you're just landing it kind of like a normal airplane. All right, first notch flaps is going to come in now. Still bleeding that speed off. There we go. Let's get down here. Another notch of flaps. Over these trees here like this. Got the runway in sight there. Get a bit lower here. It is a much better approach too. So I'm just adding a little bit of left rudder there as I add that aileron. A little bit of power here. Not a whole lot. Now we're looking great on this one. Pitching for that airspeed and power for altitude here. Go ahead and slip this sucker down in here. Ooh, a little bit of bounce there. Few bounces. Not the greatest, but that's all right. That was a prior best one we had. Oh, already with the spark plugs fouling. You got to be on that thing to not upset it, I tell you what. All right, let's taxi back and shut her down. We'll check out that landing on the replay. That one was the only one that's probably worth even checking out, honestly. All right, so it turns out that making the left turn, it's not too bad. It's just those right turns that it does not like at all. Let's taxi back to where we started and shut her down. When you're taxiing a tail dragger, you have to do S turns so you can keep an eye out of where you're going here. Not sure how easy this is going to be to do the turn into that spot over there. We might park in a different spot. Just because this thing does not like to turn on the ground. You might have better success with a different setup, but I've got, like, you know, the rudder pedals, and I'm using the VKB Gladiator stick and the X55 throttle quadrant. Let's just come over this way and we'll just spin it right in over here. Actually, kind of by this guy. This is kind of where we started. Trying to smack his wingtip here. Pull left here and move it into place. Right there will do. Right there. And we can kill the engine. All right. So, shutdown list. Did not do that. Port landing, after landing. Shutdown checklist. Parking brake is set. Throttle, good. Mixture, what's the cutoff? Fuel will come off. Let's go ahead and grab that guy. There we go. Master switch comes off. There we go. And that is that. Well, guys, that is our look at the ASDG Super Cub. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Besides my shitty flying, it wasn't the best, I know. That I do know. But it's gonna take a little bit more practice with this. But I love the feel of it when it's flying. Taxi, and I've had an absolute nightmare with that. Haven't messed much with the autopilot or anything like that. As you can see right there, you've got your autopilot there and push on and off for altitude hold. So autopilot's just gonna hold those wings level, and then altitude hold will hold your altitude that you are at. But all right, that will conclude it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.